Hello healers and health seekers, it's me Ichota, healing with medical medium information for 3 years now. If you want to know the whole list, or at least most of the list of what I'm healing from, it's in the description box below. But today I'm here to make a video about the 28-day raw cleanse, fat-free, salt-free, that I am just completing. Today is day 28 of that cleanse, and I thought I'd do a little wrap up of how it went for me. Honestly, it was so different from the other times that I have done the 28-day raw cleanse. I can't say it wasn't harder for me this time, or it wasn't hard for me, but for some reason, still a little bit unbeknownst to me, even though I wanted cooked food every day because I'm preparing these beautiful, amazing cooked meals for my family, for my son and my husband, I'm making all these yummy cooked foods. The medical medium queso dip has become a staple in our house, and they both love to have it with chips. The chips we eat are the Siete Foods chips, but I don't know how great they are because medical medium doesn't necessarily recommend them, so I would consider them sort of a little bit of a junk food because of the oil. So they do have oil and fat, and it's avocado oil, which I'm pretty sure shouldn't be heated anyway, for a sometimes food. So my son and husband both like to have the queso dip with chips, and my husband loves to have the queso dip on steamed potatoes, and so he's kind of been living on that. I had a funny little accident when I was making queso dip the other day, and I made it entirely too spicy. I guess I forgot how many of the red hot peppers I usually use, although sometimes I will admit they have different spice levels and you don't know, but I definitely used way too much. So in order to try to tamp down the spice, I had to keep making the batch bigger and bigger and bigger, and it ended up being a gallon of queso dip at the end of it. To my husband's utter delight. He's like, "Oh, I have to eat a gallon of queso dip in the next few days. Challenge accepted." So he was pretty happy about that. I did eventually get it down to a reasonable level of spice, but oh my goodness. It's interesting because the day that I made that queso dip, I was in some pretty heavy, huge emotional stuff coming out of my liver, big, angry detox kind of thing, and you don't prepare food when you're angry because it was so, oh my gosh, I just realized what a perfect synchronicity that was too. I was angry, and so I put way too much fire and spice and heat in the queso dip, all that anger, and then I had to just keep trying to pour more ingredients in. I was so lucky that, because the base of that queso dip is steamed potatoes, and I was really lucky that my husband had steamed an entire pot of potatoes, so it's good, it worked out. But oh man. So, my cleanse. If you watch my What's Up Wednesdays, you know some parts of the cleanse. You know that I have really been struggling, and not because of the cleanse. I actually really do think that being fully raw, fat-free, salt-free has been incredibly helpful for me. I think it's kept me out of bed, and I think it's kept me going through this incredibly stressful time. And it's amazing how vastly different of experiences we can have living in this RV based on the outer circumstances. Because the first time we traveled in the RV, I was only about 4 months into healing when we went on the road, and we traveled for a year. And most of the time, most of that year, we were actually properly traveling. We were traveling, and then we visited some of my son's friends from his online Discord gaming group. So we spent a month in one of the places and stuff like that. But we traveled, and we were traveling and having a good time and just basically decompressing after 5 years of incredible stress with my chronic illness. I was starting to get a little better, and so it actually became like a really fun trip. We went down the California coast, we went to Arizona, we went to an unschooling convention so that my son could meet up with his Discord gaming group friends, and some of that part became really stressful. Once we got into the Midwest, I don't know why anyone in the Midwest would want to RV in the Midwest. Like, I don't understand it. It's just not, at least for us, was never as much fun as being on a coast. It's just a lot more stressful. I guess, too, from my sensitivities, you can't really have any fires on the coast, and I'm sensitive to fire. And anyway, I'm supposed to be talking about the cleanse, and here I am talking about, well, no, it's relevant because our experience in the RV has been this time, and then also even last time at the end of it when we were kind of more camped, like more like we're in one place while we're looking for housing, and a job and stuff like that because we're going to stay here. That kind of being in the RV is just, it's oppressive is what it is. It's not fun. And it's harder, and also in the Midwest because the summers can get brutal. We're now getting into the part of summer where it's like unbearably hot during the day. It's so muggy, it's so hot that it's like we can't even really go outside. Even Muffins doesn't want to really go, Muffins, our pug, doesn't want to go outside for longer than it takes her to just do her business, and then she wants to come back in because it's so hot. Yesterday, the weather app on my phone said that the high was going to be 90 degrees, but when I looked at the app, it was 92 degrees, and it felt like 101. That's how muggy and humid it is here, is that 92 degrees feels like 101. Like, what? That's a 9-degree difference. That is a big difference. And the RV air conditioner, I shouldn't say the air conditioner, but I should just say like the insulation of the RV in general, kind of not up to the task of really keeping things cooler in those hot of temperatures. So it's oppressive. Okay, so there's that stress, right? That's the point of that whole long-winded story. There's that stress, and then there's the stress of, my husband is looking for work and we're looking for housing at the same time. Obviously, we can't move on any housing until we know where he's going to be working because we want to make sure that the housing is within a half an hour of where he works. Now, the good news is that he is not going to have any problem finding a job, and I always knew that. We always knew that, and there just was stress around it, just the waiting. But now we're in the phase of the job hunting where he had 2 interviews a couple days ago with one company. There's actually a third position in another aspect of that company that he's interviewing for today, a phone interview. The 2 interviews that he had the other day, he's going for an in-person interview on Monday. They both liked him. They both wanted him in an in-person interview. He really liked the second one. Like, really, he's like, he told the recruiter, that's the one I want. That's the one I want to go for. The pay is great. The job sounds really great, and so he's very excited about it. He also has an in-person interview Monday at this hospital, and yeah, he still has that other interview today, and recruiters are calling him all the time, so it's going to be fine. Like, he'll have a job pretty soon. Which means another big change, because once he does get that job, we will have to move the RV closer so that he can start going to work while we continue to look for housing. So there still is the stress. It's just stressful because of the heat and the summer and all the stuff. All the noise you hear in the background. Pendleton got a new toy today. He's very excited about it. It's a feather toy, feather wand toy. So I feel, because of all this stress, and on top of the stress, when you go through a cleanse, when you do a cleanse, old stuff gets brought up out of our livers, right? Like, medical medium Anthony William, he wrote about it in the Liver Rescue book, and he talks about how our livers are emotional and they store old emotions. And so his example that he gave was, say we were at a funeral and we had this ham sandwich or something at a funeral, and he said in addition to the toxins that it stores and the fat from that ham and the gluten and whatever, in addition to the toxins, it also stores the emotion of that time. So when it is able to safely detox it, like when you're doing a cleanse and you're detoxing this stuff out, those emotions come up, and oh boy, have I had them. Because what happens is also for me, when those emotions come up and out, I feel the emotion, but I also have flashbacks to like when it happened. So it's like, it'll come up and it's like it sort of comes up and out of me, goes through my head like, oh, remember this time and you were really hurt. And so, oh my gosh, I have been doing some really big processing for the past month now around so many things. And here we are, near and connected to more than we have been, like our families of origin, and definitely some stuff is coming up about with me and my mother, and things that I'm like, oh, I thought we cleared this, I thought we healed this, I thought this was over and we weren't going to have to look at this again, but the liver says otherwise. The liver says, no, there's more to heal, there's more that was stored, there's big hurts. But man, the good news about that is some of those hurts were from childhood. Like, I'm happy, sad, crying. Like, this is a weird dichotomy of emotion right now, because some of those hurts were from my childhood. That means that stuff coming up out of my liver, it's been stored there this whole time, and it's coming out, it's going, and that is the happy part. And the sad part is just the memories and the hurt, the childhood hurts. So I've been processing so much. And every single time I do a cleanse where I'm like doing it with a group of people, there's all these wonderful people who are doing the cleanse, and I think, oh, I'm going to try to post on Instagram my food, and I'm going to try to post what I'm going through and everything. And I think I made like 2 or 3 posts for the whole month, because I have been just so inside of myself and inside of the process and processing all of this, and it's been big work. And if you saw the last video that I posted, it's been big work. It's been hard. And it's almost like, are you a lunatic crazy person to do a raw cleanse while you are in the midst of all of this crazy stress? And maybe I am. I don't know. But honestly, I do feel like it's been helpful. One thing about raw, especially raw fat-free, there is nowhere to hide. My whole life, and like so many other people, I have used food as a coping mechanism to stuff down emotions that are uncomfortable to feel, and there is no anything dense in raw fruits and vegetables to stuff down. I can't use food. So I just have to feel it. I just have to feel the emotions and use all the tools in my toolbox to do my processing, use my emotion code, use my beautiful friends that I have made in this community that will lend me a shoulder and an ear and understand what I'm going through, because often they are going through the same kinds of things. And use what Matt Kahn has taught me and what Anthony William has taught me, and use the Sunset Trust meditation and talk to the angels and call on all the angels all the time to help me process, and use my meditations and go inward and just breathe through it. And I have been doing that, and I feel really like, oh, I did do this, like, this isn't, because people keep saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing raw fat free, and I'm like, you know what, I can't either. My cousin said to me yesterday, she's like, you must have incredible willpower, and I'm like, I don't feel like I have incredible willpower. It doesn't feel like a matter of willpower, but I don't know what else to call it either, because I just think, I don't know, I'm just doing it. And it has been such a struggle. My cat is under my feet, and he's just tickling my feet. messing with his toy. It really tickles. It was a struggle. Like the past couple of times that I have done the raw cleanse, it was so hard. It was such a struggle. And sometimes I didn't make it through the 28 days being fully raw. And sometimes I did, and it was just really hard. And maybe it's because the extraneous circumstances in my life are so hard that I don't have time to think about how hard or whatever the food is. All I do is just kind of go, okay, eat, just keep eating. Just, you need another smoothie. Like yesterday, oh man. Like yesterday, honestly, I've been avoiding kind of really looking at our finances and doing our finances, but I was between like budgeting software and trying to figure out like the best way to do the budget. And yesterday I was like, I'm just going to sit down and figure this out, because I had previously been using You Need a Budget, and then they started going to like a pay subscription service, and they also changed a bunch of things that made it more like very much less intuitive for it. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay to use something that I am having a really hard time with because they keep changing everything around. So I stopped paying for that, but then I was like, okay, well, Mint is free, and my friend really likes Mint, and a lot of people actually have said they really like Mint, and I thought, okay, I'll go do that. But Mint can't freaking connect to any of my accounts. Like, it just keeps not being able to do it, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And then I remembered, oh, my bank actually has this service for free online. Like, I literally could just go to my own bank. And then I thought, oh no, am I going to be able to connect my other accounts, that aren't with that bank? And sure enough, yes. I'm just talking about credit cards. We're not fancy. And yes, I could. I could connect outside accounts. So I had to go through all that yesterday. And that's, crunching the numbers and going through like by each transaction, because I hadn't done this, since they added this service. Like, you can go through each transaction and categorize it in very specific categories if you want to. And then like you can track your money and do a budget and everything. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And I did. And it took hours. And again, I felt really great that I had done it. But also, after looking at our finances with no paychecks coming in and the money coming out of savings right now, that's a little heavy. So I'm like, I need smoothies and just glucose and mineral salts, please, to replenish my poor brain and my liver from that depletion. And yeah, so that was just like a whole that's an example of like, okay, big stressful kind of thing, but something I need to do and get accomplished. And I guess it felt more important now because it's like, oh, paychecks are going to start coming in. I better get a budget in place and, be ready to get a budget in place. Whew. So it's like I kind of knew what was going on, but I'm like, I don't want to look. And I had to look for the purposes of getting everything back in place. And because really, when I'm on top of it, it's part of my routine, and I'm looking like every couple of days because I'm adjusting the budget all the time and just keeping track of everything. That's how you are supposed to do it. So, and I had like a very clear and lucid day yesterday, and I thought, okay, this is the day. So, yeah. Anyway, so all that stress of everything, and maybe I just didn't have as much time to dedicate to paying attention to how much I wanted potatoes and other cooked food. I do feel like being raw and fat-free has really supported me in this, because I think, honestly, if I was eating cooked food and I didn't have the support of the raw, I probably honestly would be in bed a lot more and kind of like more fatigued and more symptoms. And I am having symptoms fluctuate and come and go, because I think there's some detox going on and maybe a little bit of flare because of the continued adrenaline running from all of the stress stuff. This hasn't happened in a really long time. I used to have itchy ears. That was a thing. That was like one of my symptoms a long time ago. It's been such a long time since that's happened. And my ears started itching again. And I'm like, no, not the itchy ears. And then, you could see some of my symptoms that are, and I think this is detox, actually, because the day before yesterday, I did all smoothies and juices. Yesterday, I did have a couple salads. And I was going to do it yesterday, too, but I've been eating this salad recipe that Tara Tom posted a while back on her Instagram, And she's like, this is so simple, but it's really delicious. It doesn't even need a dressing. And I'm like, well, I gotta try that. And all it is peas, cucumbers, tomatoes, and cauliflower. And you rice the cauliflower. And I also use the Vitamix on a low setting, like 4. I have the one with the number dial, and so I do it on 4 to rice the cauliflower, and I also do it on 4 to rice the tomatoes. And then you just mix it all up and eat it. Like, that's it. It's so simple. And sometimes I'll put nori in it, and sometimes I'll add mango or red onion. But most of the time, it's just those 4 ingredients. And I'm totally addicted to it. And I've been eating it every day for like, I don't know, over a week, a couple weeks now. I just friggin' love that salad. And so I was going to do smoothies and juices for a second day, and then I was like, oh no, I really want that salad. And so I made that instead. Anyway, it's a really good, I don't know why it's so good, but it's so good, and it's really simple, and it doesn't need dressing, but occasionally I'll put a little bit of, I have this raw teriyaki sauce that I make for my son's cauliflower, and occasionally there'll be, like, I'll make a batch of that for him, and there'll be just a little bit left in the blender, and I just leave it in the blender when I do the tomatoes, so it adds like the tiniest bit of sauce to it, but it doesn't need it. It's so good without it. I love that salad. Anyway, so I'm not sure what I'm going to eat today for day 28. I think I might do juices and smoothies all day today again, and then I'll probably get more of this going on because it's pulling stuff out. It's flushing everything out, so lovely. Just lovely I get this going on. It's okay. It's part of detox. Yeah, I just have been amazed at how, I'm not going to say easy it has been for me to continue to eat raw, but I think it's just, I do really take it one day at a time. Like, okay, it's almost like one meal at a time. So I just go, all right, I'm hungry. I'm going to have a smoothie or a salad or just, spinach soup. And I always keep in my head spinach soup as my nighttime meal, but sometimes I don't have it because I go to sleep too soon, or I end up having that salad twice in a day, like I did yesterday. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with that salad. It doesn't have greens in it, though. One time, yesterday, one of the ones I did add greens. I added lettuce and mango to it, so it was like a whole different salad. And then I did put a dressing on that one. Because of the lettuce, I felt like I wanted to add a little bit of a dressing. So I just blended, if you want to know, red pepper, a couple of dates, half a mango, and a couple of cloves of garlic, I think. I love red pepper. I was talking to a friend of mine online. She is the person that I have to thank, and I was telling her this is exactly what we were talking about. Because she was talking about getting a case of red peppers from her local grocer who would order like cases of things for her. She said, yeah, I get just cases of bell peppers I'll get like 40 for $15. And I'm like, 40 peppers or 40 pounds? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. What are you even going to do with that many? I'm like, I eat only fruits and vegetables, and I don't know what I would do with 40 bell peppers. I love bell peppers. And she's like, oh, I eat them like apples. And I'm like, of course you do. Because this is the person, I love her so much. This is the person who, as teenagers, got me hooked on broccoli. Like, totally hooked on broccoli, because she was so obsessed with broccoli, and she would eat it all the time. It was like her favorite food, and it made it be my favorite vegetable as well, and so we would just always be like eating broccoli all the time. Raw, cooked, it didn't matter. We just love broccoli, and so broccoli to this day is one of my favorite vegetables. And so, and I'm like, of course you eat whole bell peppers like apples. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's great. They're so great for you. They have so much vitamin C. Like, this is amazing. Like, that's really good for you. And then we just started talking about, like, food and stuff. Anyway, I had to mention her because I thought that just made me happy. I don't know. I just love that. So I really have just been taking it one day at a time, one meal at a time, and just being like, okay, if I want potatoes, have a smoothie, or have a salad, or have some spinach soup, or an adrenal snack. Just like, I can want all the potatoes I want and just keep eating raw food, and so that's what I did. And I didn't focus too much on the food. I kept everything pretty simple, simple salads, and just like the one I said with Terra Tom, that kind too. And the spinach soup is always so easy, and smoothies are always easy. For me, smoothies is whatever fruit I have in the house, usually a base of like banana. We have been loaded up with peaches and nectarines, and they go quickly, so you have to eat them. So I'll put like 4 peaches and a couple of bananas, and then we've got all these fresh strawberries, so I'll put a bunch of strawberries and then some honey, because strawberries have a little bit of tartness to them, and then I'll put 2 big handfuls of spinach, and that is my smoothie, and it is so delicious. I think that's my favorite smoothie I've been making lately. But we also have pineapple, so I will sometimes do those with pineapple, and sometimes peach. I mix it up, whatever. We've got papaya. We have so many awesome, it's summer, so we've got all the fruits right now. I've got papaya, I've got banana, I've got mangoes, I've got pineapple, I've got peaches and nectarines and rambutan and lychee and strawberries and cherries, and oh my gosh, summer is the best. And every day, I have my morning of lemon water and celery juice, and then the blended watermelon with mint and lime, and then I have my heavy metal detox smoothie, and then I'll have whatever's next. So a lot of times it's the salad, but sometimes it'll be spinach soup, or usually spinach soup I end up doing in the evening, but sometimes I do it for lunch. And then smoothies and things like that all day, and then I'll snack on 3 or 4 mangoes. Oh my gosh, these mangoes are so good right now. I call them honey mangoes. Anyway, oh my god, they are so good. They are so good, and I'm just eating them like crazy. Costco has them right now for real cheap, and so my husband, I don't like all the plastic that comes from Costco. I understand why they do it, because it keeps their food costs lower. I guess it's cheaper to buy plastic than to deal with like high food costs. I get it, because it's protects the fruit and everything, but I'm like, so much plastic. I wish they would at least like do a recycle program where you can bring all your plastic back to Costco and they can like reuse it or something. I don't know, because it's like, what are you gonna do? Okay, this is how they're packaged, right? What are you gonna do? This is so specifically shaped to the mangoes, right? What are you gonna do with that? I mean, we take it to the recycling center, but it hurts my heart. Like, please, why? We don't need this much plastic. There's gotta be a better system, Costco. I love you so much as a store. You sell the medical medium books. You sell you're subsidizing organic farmers. You're helping us get more organic food for cheap in places where that might not have as much access to it otherwise. And you pay your employees well. You pay a living wage. And I so appreciate that about you, Costco. I really do. But the plastic. Can we please do something about the plastic use? It is too much. It's too much. That is my plea to Costco. Okay, anyway. Those mangoes are delicious. And of course we have melons. We have all different kinds of melons. Yes, I'm just swimming in summer fruit right now. And that's another thing actually that makes it a little easier to stay raw, is that it's like, oh, we have to eat this before it goes bad because we've bought so much freaking fruit. And I'm always like, get more cherries. I barely had any cherries because my son loves cherries so much that when my husband will get like a couple pounds of cherries and they end up gone in like 2 days. My son eats them and I'm like, can I have one? So I'll get like a little handful of cherries. I am not complaining. I love that he loves cherries that much that he's just like, those are mine. Yeah, you can take those. You can have them. It's fine. I'm happy. So, yes, generally in a cleanse, people say, oh, I had so much more energy, and oh, I just felt great. And I would say that has not been true for me, but it is not the cleanse's fault. It is the circumstances in my life's fault. Right now, everything is kind of coming at me and draining me. So I probably did have more energy than I would have had if I was eating differently, I would think. Because I think I just would have been drained and in bed and like just having the hardest time. And I think because of the cleanse, the emotions were definitely big and in my face. They continue to be, and that's okay. And for me also, this isn't over. I'm not done. I'm going to continue through the rest of June, and I'm thinking about trying to do all summer, but I'm just going to take it one day at a time. So I'm not going to promise myself anything because I don't want to disappoint myself. But I'm also feeling very supported by eating the raw food, and I feel like it is helping me. Yeah, I don't want to give that up, even though I really want to take a bite of that cauliflower that I make for my son. Not the queso because it's got the fat in it, but the cauliflower for sure. It doesn't have any fat, and oh my gosh, it looks so good, and my son loves it so much he asks for it every single day, and that's saying something. I know the sauce is good because it's raw and I can eat it, so sometimes I'll dip raw cauliflower in it, or like I said, I'll put it on my salad. Okay. Well, obviously, I am feeling better than I was when I posted my video the other day. I do want to say just a little bit about that, because it does apply. It's applicable to the cleanse, and it's applicable to just this whole healing journey and this healing lifestyle and the way that it goes. And I did an Instagram post about it that I got so much positive feedback for, and I was like, wow, I didn't know. I mean, because I was honestly almost posting it for myself. Like, I was like telling myself, like, okay, I can't read I'm filming this with my camera, so I can't read the post to you. You can go on my Instagram, and it's the post where I posted the video, basically, because I said around it, I don't know exactly, but the point of it was that it doesn't matter how far in our healing we get, and I really was speaking more from like the emotional, spiritual aspect of it, but I think this even maybe kind of applies to the physical as well. Life is always going to continue to happen. There always will be events and things will be triggering, and there will be huge emotions that come up and that take us down a little bit and that can feel overpowering and overwhelming. And I think in physical healing it would apply to, like, there could be symptom flares, or we could come in contact with a new virus or new toxins or something that take us down a little bit. But what does continually happen is that as we become more proficient in using the tools and understanding the information that we need to heal, like using the emotional healing tools and using the physical healing tools and understanding all of the information that helps us heal, as we become more proficient at that, we bounce back so much more quickly. Our recovery time shortens so much. And we start to know, even when we're in the thick of like the darkest dark despair, we know it's going to pass. And that becomes our hope, and it becomes a crutch. It becomes one of our tools. It becomes part of our strength. We know we have the support of the angels. We know we have the support of our medical medium community. We know that we can reach out to people, even if it's just in an Instagram post where we're like, hey, I need help. Can somebody talk to me? Or if we've made friends over time, like I have in this community, I can reach out directly to one of them and say, hey, I really am struggling right now. I need some support. Do you have time to talk? And inevitably somebody will say, yes, I do. Yeah, I'm here. And I'm feeling it behind the eyes. It's coming up my heart, goes out my eyes. I just get so moved by that because it's there. It is there. The support is there. The love is there. And you know what I did too? I listened to the Medical Medium SoundCloud show on compassion again, and it does always help every single time I listen to it. Whenever I am in that place where I'm like, oh, I have no compassion for myself right now. See, and now I recognize it. I'm like, I can't hold this for myself. I'm feeling bad about myself, and I will go listen to that show, and I will hear that, and I will feel that compassion coming from him and spirit, and I am back. It's like, I've got a little piece of it. And then other people give me pieces of it. And I do a post or something, and then people just surround me with prayers and love and support. And I just am lifted up. Like the second I posted that video the last time, I felt lighter. It's like I had given it to the universe. I had given that pain and my struggle to the universe, and I just felt lighter. And immediately people are messaging me and leaving comments and saying, you know, we're here and we love you and we support you. And oh my gosh, I don't know why. It's like every time I am amazed and so just filled with love and appreciation and gratitude for just the love and support of people, and how much they Pendleton is just everywhere, and how much they give and are there for me and each other. Like, I'm so honored to be able to offer prayers and support for others when they need it, and it's just everything. It's just everything. So, I mean, thank you. It doesn't feel like I'm powerful enough word to say, but thank you. 2 words. I mean, I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the support. I am so, so blessed that I have the honor of being a part of this community, and I love you all so much. I just love you and appreciate you, and I don't even have to know you to know that that is true. I appreciate your struggle and your journey and your compassion and your heart. And my cat's butt. Oh, sweetie boy. So, oh my gosh. Alright, with that, thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please give a thumbs up below. You can subscribe to my channel by dinging that subscribe button over there and hitting the bell next to it if you want to be notified when I post new videos. My heart to you, my healers and health seekers. Stay curious. Blessings on your continued healing journey. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.